right, so I'm getting on the scale the final morning. All right, hello, good morning. I just weighed in, at 140, which means I've gone from 153 pounds to 140 in 7 days. That's 13 pounds. But caveat there, unlike, they say when you do a water fast, you should prepare by eating things that are like good for digestion, fruits and vegetables, maybe some oats and things like that, and avoid junk food. And I did the absolute opposite thing because this was not planned. I went to a youth camp for 3 days and ate things like, for breakfast one morning, I had 4 huge pieces of French toast and 3 pieces of sausage, and it was a total gut bomb. Well, it was great. And I was adjusted to eating some garbage. So I didn't prepare well there, and then 3 hours later I had hamburgers, and 3 hours later I had huge pizza, 5 hours later. So I didn't prepare well, and I'm pretty sure I went in a bit heavy. At least 2 pounds. Could have been 3, so I'm really only gonna, 10 to 13 pounds is what I lost because I came in heavy. That made it much harder to do this fast this time. I think was less preparation from the just how to feed myself, not so much the mental preparation, because mentally I was good because I really felt like I had not treated my body well and I wanted to get over that. But physically, I think I was left with some more food withdrawal than I should have had, because I've done a 3-day fast in the past, and the first 3 days was a lot harder this time. Last night I had aspirations of being like a cook. I'm becoming a little more obsessed with food, especially like Asian, infusion type rice bowls. Yeah, and making pho, Vietnamese pho. Yeah, you may see Chef Dale someday in the future. These fasts really help me because it feels like they let me really cement in on some good health choices, and because you've got so much time to just not eat and be more deliberate about food. So that's one thing I really like about fasting. It gives you plenty of time to refocus. That being said, this was the most stressful time that I've had since I was it's been a stressful time. It hasn't been, my 3 days of fasting was like a time of clarity, where this was more stressful because I don't need to lose any weight. Sure, I think everyone can benefit from losing some of that old fat and getting your body to go through the autophagy state of cleaning up old cells and kind of starving and eating out and cleaning out the toxins and the purification, the detoxification. I think that's awesome. But I think that can also be had in like 5 days. So I was telling my wife last night that when I was in high school, I wrestled, and I was always really small, 82 pounds as a freshman, 93 pounds as a sophomore, 103 pounds as a junior, and then 114 pounds as a senior. And when I was 114 pounds, I cut weight to get into the 103 pound weight division. And that was probably, from November to January-ish, that was the most stressful time. January, February, I don't remember when it ended. That was the most stressful time of my life, or that was the hardest thing that I'd done psychologically, because every week we had a weigh-in, and I needed to arrive at that weigh-in at a certain weight, at the day before the meet, at a certain weight. And a lot of times, I could basically lose, I could go in as high as 111, but I was usually only as high as 109, 110. So I'd arrive at a practice 24 hours before the weigh-in, weighing 4 to 7 pounds over what I should have weighed. And then we would work out for 3 hours. It was called a sweat practice. We'd work out, exercise like crazy, do drills, run. Everybody was wearing lots of sweaters and things. And then, man, I hope I didn't cause myself permanent damage. And then I would usually, the coach would run around and say, we were running around the room and said, who's 2 pounds over? And everybody would raise their hand. A lot of people, who's 3 pounds over? Half the room raises their hand. Who's 4 pounds over? And it's always like me and then another bigger guy, like somebody who weighs 150 pounds, raising their hand. Who's 5 pounds over? Me again. Who's 6 pounds over? Me again. Who's 7 pounds over? One of those times, it was me and one other person who had to lose the most weight. In fact, my coach was so concerned that he sent me to go get a legit body fat test, not the caliper test. And I believe I came in at like 3.6, which is crazy. I had like veins in my stomach, and but it was hard psychologically. It was so hard psychologically, and this wasn't that hard, but it reminded me of that, and it wasn't awesome. Yeah, because I couldn't imagine a time when I could just eat freely, where 7 days of not eating, like especially the last few days, I've not been hungry. I've been able to go shopping and, I've been able to look at food and admire myself eating it someday, but I didn't have hunger urges taking me towards it. So it's just interesting. So yeah, more stressful. Next time, I'm not gonna do a 7-day. I don't know how much benefit I've received except for those unknown, whatever benefits that you get from water fasting from 5 to 7. And sure, I'll take them. I'm fine. That's great. The only reason I finished the 7-day fast is pretty much purely because I said I was going to. And gosh, even that though, I said, yeah, because I said I was going to, and ego. That's pretty much it, because I wanted to say that I did a 7-day fast because I'd been wanting to for a long time. And when my friends had told me, hey, I did a 5-day fast, I was like, that's cool. I want to see what it feels like on the 5th day when you feel good. In my 3-day fast, I never felt good. So this time I was able to feel the magic of day 4 really feels good. Nah, day 4 didn't even feel good. Day 5 felt good. Day 4 didn't hurt. Day 4 didn't have a lot of cravings. But day 5, I was like, I'm not eating food for reals. Day 6, I was like, I feel awesome, but Dale, did you really just have that thought? Or Dale, you didn't answer that question very intelligently. I felt a little more mental drag that only I could notice, maybe. But, so there you go. Now I'm going to, so my true 7 days ends at like 7 p.m., 6:45, whatever. And had I started this, and the only reason I started was because my brother at 7:20 sent me a text, and he said, hey, do you want to do I'm watching The Science of Fasting. Do you want to do a 7-day fast? And I was like, ugh, not really. Maybe 3 days, And so I started the fast with him because I just gorged myself for the last time, after a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday set, deal. But I told him, yeah, so I started. Don't do that, because the problem is when you start eating again, you've got to eat really slow. Like, eat really slow. And they talk about, I've watched a few videos on this. One guy, he's like, hey, eat things like kefir, maybe some sauerkraut, some yogurt. And some people say against yogurt because of the lactose and the inflammation. And some berries, and day 1, consume 800 calories. Day 2, consume 1,000 calories. 800 to 1,000 day 1, 1,000 to 2,000 day 2, regular eating on day 3. So I want to start eating again. Another person, a guy from a fasting center in Costa Rica, what he does is he gives his clients 2 ounces or so of that. So that's 1/16 or 1/8. That's like, it's like 450 grams in a pound or so. A pound has 16. let's do some quick math. A pound has 16 ounces. So what's 450 divided by 16? To say even 3 at 480. You know, that's like 60 grams of watermelon. The first day, after 21-day fasts, he'll give them every 3 hours 2 ounces or so, 60 grams of watermelon. And then the next day he doubles that. So he works people in really slowly. So I'm actually quite motivated I want to eat well on Father's Day. And I possibly want to go on a date night with my wife and eat some sort of like good pho or some sort of food on Saturday night because it's Father's Day. That the whole, you know, it wasn't super convenient for my family for me to fast. Maybe because I was kind of a little more short-tempered. Only day 3, I was actually pretty good. I was more just not so lively day 4 through 7. But days 2 and 3, I was kind of having a hard time. It was like, kids, put yourselves to bed. Like, I can't even go through that process. I'm spent, you know. So I want to reintroduce food. I think I'm going to start that, even though my true 7 days, so you guys are kept in on the lie. I'm totally just going to say I did a 7-day fast. But I'm probably going to have, like, you know, 3 balls of watermelon, 4 balls of watermelon, whatever that is, starting at whenever I feel hungry. I don't even feel hungry now. Well, not when I feel hungry, but when I just when I feel up to, okay, I'm going to start putting food into my body. So whether that's at 2 p.m. today or 10 a.m., I'm gonna get a process of going into the kitchen, putting on the plate a really small amount, bringing it up to my office, and then snacking on it ever so slowly, because I want to get my digestion system going again. This refeeding part can be the most frustrating part of fasting, because it doesn't feel good. It doesn't, you know, the food tastes good going in your mouth, but the whole process of like kickstarting your digestive system, at least the other times, even with 3 days, it didn't feel good. It wasn't like, oh, this food's so good. Maybe for a little bit the food was good, but then when it gets in, it's like, oh crap, I gotta get my digestion moving again. So I'm really just not having super positive thoughts of what that process is gonna be like, and I really want to kickstart it sooner. I was super tempted to do that yesterday, but I wanted to fill out the whole 7-day deal. So right now it's 5 a.m., and I need to do it. Another thing, the last few days, I usually sleep 7 hours, and then I'll wake up naturally. I guess the baby was crying, and one of my other kids was kicking me in the leg, but I still woke up again at 5 hours and 20 minutes. I haven't slept more than 5 hours and 20 minutes in the last 3 days, because I think my body says, hey Dale, wake up again. You didn't do a very good job of finding food yesterday. Go and find it today. You don't need sleep. Why do you need sleep? We're not processing anything. You've done a horrible job at feeding us. I think that's what's happening. So anyways, man, 13 minutes, dang. Maybe I can find something to cut out, or maybe not. So anyways, there you go. That's the first part of day 7, and kind of my thoughts on the whole fasting deal. So thank you. All right, so it's closing in on noon on Friday. I started at 7 p.m. last Friday after a dinner, and I really wish that I would have started in the afternoon, but I didn't. And I'm going to start eating pretty soon now. I wanted to wait till at least noon. It's 11:51 because I need to start priming those engines. So the start is going to be like a piece of avocado and maybe watermelon, like 3 pieces of watermelon, little chunks. Can I taste it? Can I taste the avocado good? Well, sauerkraut. So I had my first meal 2 hours and 15 minutes ago. I ate it over like 45 minutes, and I don't feel bad. So I feel good that I ate so little, but I also don't feel awesome. I don't feel any better than when I was fasting. So I'm just gonna keep it slow. I'm kind of spacing it out every 2 hours or so, because I would like to have like 800 calories today, kind of put some food in. But I'm really just gonna gauge how I feel. And thus far it's been pretty good. Okay, it's been 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and I've eaten some of the peanut butter, 1.5 of the watermelon pieces. I ate the avocado and the sauerkraut. And I need to go move this into the kitchen because I need to give myself at least an hour break, because I'm starting to not maybe feel all that hot. All right, so this is meal number 2. Same thing, but I added some olives. And then meal number 3, almonds and olives. And meal number 4, I put half of those eggs back, a little more avocado. And all right, so it is about 10 o'clock, and I've finished my fast. I started last Friday at 7 p.m. and I started eating today at around noon, 12:17 to be exact. And I basically had, I had 3 like 150 or 200 calorie meals, and then I had another little, thing of eggs, avocado, goat cheese, and then I had 2 of these little baby muffins. So, and I'm feeling great. Feeling good, happy to get the system running again, and I guess I'll have to reflect about how I really feel. I just cut my thumb with a knife, I was cleaning the knife to get the kids some watermelon. Not fun.